Greg Tran, Gregory Group Real Estate here in Austin, Texas. It's been a while, so I just wanted to give you a quick market update. We're close to the end of July, so technically we're kind of in the middle of the summer, but I know we're all waiting for it to end because the heat is crushing all of us. We do have seasonality here in the Austin market. It will start picking up January, February, heats up through March and April, and then everything usually peaks in activity about May and maybe the middle of June. We usually will have the highest median prices in July, and that's on the homes that went under contract in May and June. And then the prices and the activity will start to fade off towards the end of summer and pick back up towards October. We had a similar pattern this year, but everything peaked a little bit early. We track these numbers on a week-by-week basis, so we could see pretty clearly that the activity, and when I say activity, I mean like how many homes are going under contract. We could see that peaked about mid-April. So maybe a month or so earlier than normal, but since then it's tailed off a little bit, but it's stayed fairly steady here. We are in a different market than we're used to here. For the last 10 years, we've pretty much been in a seller's market where things generally move pretty fast and there's not very much inventory. Right now in Austin, there is a fair amount of inventory. There's a lot more than we're used to. There's a lot of options out there, and it's affecting things both on the buyer side and the seller side. On the seller side, we just have to understand that it's a very different market now. With a lot of choices out there for the buyers, our listings have to stand out more than they did before for them to get noticed. Otherwise, it's honestly very hard to get showings if the listing doesn't stand out. And that means we do want to have the best quality listing. Like, we want to prep it the best we can before we put it on the market. Something else we're noticing is that the things I would call X factors before, and these are the factors that we know will affect the sale of a home. We just don't know how much. These might be things like being close to a busy street, or maybe something weird is right over your backyard fence, or maybe the floor plan is a little bit funky. These are the things that we know will affect it, but I will tell you that in this market, it's affecting it more than it ever has before. Also for sellers, if you've been on the market for a little while and you get an offer, I would make an effort to negotiate with the buyers and see what kind of deal we can come up with. In a slower market like this, it's not always certain that another one is right around the corner. Now for buyers, the opposite is true. It's actually a great time to be buying here. It's like nothing I've ever seen for buyers before. Since there's more options, we get to go out and take a look at more properties. The buyers usually have more time to make a decision. That's not to say that there aren't any multiple offers, because we still do bump up against that, but it's not like, but it's actually quite rare. How about that? Also on the buyer side, it just feels a little better because now you have a little more leverage. You can do a little more negotiating if that's what you want to do. Of course, the one downside to it is that interest rates are higher, but kind of is where they are now. I wouldn't have too many expectations in interest rates coming down a lot in the near future. It would probably take something pretty bad to be happening to our economy for those interest rates to come down to anything close to where they were before. As always, real estate is super local. So if you have any questions about your particular property or your particular situation, just reach out to me. Happy to talk.